into was originally the top floor of this building. That level we've just passed through was not part of the original building, but got added onto it in the mid-1700s. The building you're standing in here now goes back to the late 1400s. So this house was just one room deep. Now we can only see half of it today because when Mr. Pond did his extension work and he extended out the front, he built that wall with the bookcase, and that's that wall there. It's coming through the house, dividing this house in two. So I want you to imagine a room like this on the other side, but as one big space. And then you've got an idea of what the house would have looked like. Now we know this house was home to a weaving family, and we know that because of the weaver's window that we've got here at the front. You'll see these all over Norwich and Norfolk, and we call them weaver's windows because they were specifically designed like this long, thin, narrow design to let in lots of natural daylight into our rooms to allow our weavers to work. And weavers would use the top levels of their family homes as their workshops. You know, they wouldn't be off hiring factories elsewhere. They were working in the top floors of their homes because you'll see compared to the lower level how much darker the lower level was. So the top half of the house was the lightest, brightest, airiest part in which to work. This was a south-facing window. So lots of natural daylight would have come in here, lit this room beautifully. Now weavers would only ever use natural daylight to work by because their only man-made light back in those days was tallow candles, animal fat candles. Can you imagine working in a room this size with an animal fat candle? It's going to get into the fibres of your fabric. It could set light to your building and it could spit out onto your goods as well, so they couldn't afford for that to happen. Now this south-facing window is sitting directly beneath the room upstairs, the window upstairs, and it was paned in glass that we could see through originally. So we'd be looking over the dry defensive ditch that surrounded the castle. You're standing in the first building, as I mentioned on the stairs, the first building to get ever built in the castle ditch. I'm now going to take you down where you'll be standing in the castle ditch, and I can show you the second building that got built. I said I'm going to show you the second building that got built in the castle ditch, and this is it. So, you know, if you look down the side here, you can see a building that was built in the 1400s. This was a rich, wealthy merchant's house with just 2 stories above it. And today this is doing a rather good job of holding up 5 stories. Originally, our weaver's cottage was the closest building to the castle mound. You're looking over the ditch, you're looking over to the mound and the castle across the street. But as you can see from the brickwork on that building, it looks much newer than our weaver's cottage, doesn't it? And that's because it is. It didn't get built until the mid-1700s. So we think this was built as an outbuilding to keep animals in. It was very common, you know, to keep yourself a donkey or a horse. They would help you fetch the water because there was no running water or sewage system down here. So you can imagine everything getting thrown out of the doors and windows into the street. So, you know, while you're standing there, just take a minute and just imagine all the people walking through here. You know, what they were talking about, what they were wearing, and what they would have been smelling as well.
And there's a little symbol underneath it. And the letters in those days were very distinctive, so graffiti from that period can be authenticated. And as for that symbol, well, we see symbols like that in other places and on goods as well. They're interpreted as being trademarks. Tradesmen left their mark.